So you're playing a team that scores a lot of points and shoots a lot of threes. How do you prepare for
Marshall, great offensive team. It's like watching a pro team when you watch their edits. I'm hoping it'll help us execute better, though, showing how well they pass the ball and some of the things they do with their offense that we try to do. We're going to use some of their clips to show our guys, here's how you do it right. Some of the stuff we practice. That's how good they are on offense. They score. They can really, really score. So
they can really, really shoot?
they can just score. They make, I think, 9.8 threes a game, which when you factor in, it's not a lot when you talk about they score 88 points. So they're only scoring 27 or 30 points a game at the three-point line. They get a lot of layups because they spread the floor well, because of their shooting and passing. I'm most impressed with their point guard and the way he orchestrates their offense. Elmore, he's just a very good player. I guess his dad was a great player at VMI, Larry told me. Larry's a lot older than me, so these are things that he would know that I wouldn't. He can shoot it, he can pass it. He just does a great job orchestrating their offense. Very good player. They're like watching the old Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash.
So it's not that they run that much, it's just the way they execute their offense, or is it both?
Both. I mean, they don't play slow by any stretch, but they do everything with speed and precision, which is why it works.
Sounds like a great challenge.
It'll be a great challenge. Butch is going to hate me if I keep doing it.
They also give up a lot of points too, so you can.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. One, they're not the biggest team around, and their rebounding is a weakness. If you look at statistically, I think they're -6 a game. For a team to be -6 on the glass, usually they wouldn't be 7-4 with their winning record. It tells you how good they are on the offensive end. I mean, you sit there and say, well, coaches just make their opponents sound good. They're so good on offense that they're 7-4 despite getting out rebounded by 6 a game. They got out rebounded last night by West Virginia Wesleyan. But they rested a few guys that had minor injuries last night. Their lack of size is a problem for them at times. Ohio State's big guys really had their way in that game. When you look at that game statistically, Ohio State's interior guys, one of them was 100% from the field. They had some guys 6 for 6, 8 for 8, 7 for 8.
So they probably don't have anybody to handle Kyle Washington inside.
Yeah, well, I would say, a lot of people struggle to handle Kyle and Gary inside, and Trey's starting to produce and Nasir's getting better on the interior. Every game, no matter who we play, we try to make people have to deal with that. The fact that we can, score inside. Well, a lot of people just can't nowadays. So I would say that obviously that figures to be an advantage for us.
Kevin Johnson mentioned the other day, of course, he scored 18. It's taken him a while to get into a rhythm, and sometimes he does. What's the difference you've noticed beginning of the year till now with him?
Well, I think he's like any other guy that shoots perimeter shots. I think the law of averages comes into effect. Most kids in college basketball shoot it between 30 and 40%. Some of them, like Farad Cobb, was shooting 50 early last year. You knew he was going to come back to earth at some time. Kevin started and Troy were struggling early. You knew that was going to change at some point. I just focus with these guys on defensive effort. And when it comes to taking shots, making sure they're taking open shots. And I'm a big believer, if you can get a layup and a free throw, you feel the ball going in the basket out of your hands, it's going to help your confidence. The basket seems to get a little bit bigger for you. So it's hard to just live outside the line. So I try to preach to all of them, the layups and free throws will help you get going on the offensive end. And just focus on your defense and your hustle. You shouldn't even know whether you made a shot or not. You shouldn't know that you're 0 for 2 or 2 for 2. You should just worry about your defense. Kevin played so hard the other night. He's such a good athlete. I never saw him as tired as he was the other night. He never gets tired. He was playing so hard trying to smother FDU. That was our game plan. we're trying to practice smothering people with our defense. He was so bought into trying to smother them with his effort that he actually got tired. It's the first time I ever took him out 4 years because he got tired.
Well, Gary got the Defensive Player of the Year award, but you think,
Yeah, I mean,
you think Kevin is,
at our banquet, Kevin Johnson was Defensive Player of the Year.
he's your best defensive player?
It's not even close. Yeah. Now Gary's extremely smart, and he led us in block shots. We're the best defensive team in the league. So if you're a coach voting, you look, and he led us in block shots. Coaches love him because he never takes a bad shot. He's got unbelievable amount of class and integrity for a player. So coaches want to vote for Gary Clark for something. And he's a quiet good defender because he helps, he rotates, he blocks shots. But as far as perimeter defense, and Kevin's just his athleticism.
What would be a good, I'm sorry.
Go
What
ahead.
would be a good defensive number against these guys for you?
I don't know. I just want to. I want to win. I got a lot of Christmas shopping to do Friday, so just got to make sure we get a win.
You mentioned those Phoenix Suns teams. How much does Dan use from Mark's system?
Yeah, I got to ask him that one.
Just can you tell watching on tape that
Like I said, they look like the old Phoenix Suns.
that's a
You know,
lot, right?
I would say if they look like the old Phoenix Suns, I would say because their point guard's so good, he orchestrates everything. Tremendous player. Really impressed with him. Really impressed with him.
Coach, can you talk about Quadri's progress, kind of what he can do to earn more minutes?
I think it's the same as I always said. Shot selection has got to improve. He's got to give us physicality on defense, and he's usually our best screener. He does understand how to get people open, and he's a willing screener. He's just in a battle with some guys playing well right now. Obviously, 2 all-league players, and Gary and Kyle. And Trey Scott's really playing well. Nasir's starting to come along as well.
You talked about this a little bit after the Fairleigh Dickinson game. Your offense, are you happy with the way it's come along?
Well, we're shooting 49% from the field, so I think shot selection is improving, passing is improving, and we're starting to find a rhythm of playing together. You know, I think guys, we talk about like with Quadri, so Trey Scott understands the shots that he can make, that he should probably take, and that's, I think that's spreading around our team, and that's when you're going to shoot a higher percentage. When you're not just worried about scoring, you're worried about your team scoring, but more importantly, to be an effective player. As a coach, you should say, well, you know, do you allow him to shoot that shot? What you got to do as a coach is you got to get your guys to understand the shots that they're going to be able to make a high percentage of, and to look for those kind of shots. And I would say the biggest part is Troy. Now he had, because of the Texas Southern game and the FDU game, we blew both teams being blowouts. I rested him late because he logs a lot of minutes, and he's going to log a lot of minutes in January and February. But he's trying to be more of a scorer 15 feet in the end. I think that's going to help him and help our team. So I think but it's everybody trying to get. You can get guys to understand the shots that they can make a high percentage of. It's the hardest thing this day and age in basketball, because if a guy makes 1 3, he thinks he's a 3-point shooter, and he might make 15 out of 100. That makes him a bad shooter. That's probably the biggest challenge offensively as a coach at any level, is to get guys to really realize the shots that they should be taking in a game, and the ones they can make a high percentage of. Those are but getting them to realize that is tough. But not with this team here is extremely mature. I've said that. We got a chance to have a really good team, but we got to just make sure we're trying to get better.
Defensive rebounding, great so far?
Getting better. You know, we force teams to miss a lot of shots. We're only giving up 36%. But I think in the crucial games, defensive rebounding is huge. The other thing it does is it starts your fast break. It's, the beginning of the fast break is the defensive rebound. I think we like a lot of teams have a tendency to run to the rim, but we force a lot of perimeter jump shots late in the shot clock, which equals a long rebound. So we have to really be cognizant of not rim running and making sure that we block out for the long rebound. It's something that we've started really working on, focusing on, and we got to continue to do it.